she even said, I'm done after season 3.
Okay.
Like, so, yeah.
We should bring that up and discuss that.
If you want, yeah.
No, it would help if this was actually.
You kidding me, dude?
Yeah, that one explains why I wasn't
What are you talking about?
picking it up.
This thing plugged into the camera? Who needs that?
Is there a second spot over here?
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. Well, someone's there already. Yeah, it's right beside that one.
Show notes.
Hey,
I have no idea.
can everybody hear us?
Holy crap! I don't have a chin. I have a gourd.
All right, let's see how this.
Definitely not my best side.
In hindsight, I think that microphone should be over here, boomed this way.
Why? Holy shit, it's got a good ding in it already.
What?
In the cage.
Oh, man. I know where you can buy a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What honestly, what does that matter?
Just seeing how because he's not even like in front of the diaphragm.
What? Wait, well, over here, like you can't pick me up.
Well, no, we can turn it however you want.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
you two have a mic here.
I mean,
no, this is strictly for the webcam.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is the only thing recording the podcast.
Oh, no kidding. All right. So it's omnidirectional.
I mean, it is.
Like,
yeah.
Or is this just? It says
No.
cardioid.
It's unidirectional. You got to be right in front of the front.
Oh.
I do believe. Well, we'll find out. Let's give it a. This is a microphone test. 1 2 1 2.
Okay. Hey there, Dane Lamont, episode 41.
Check. Test. 1 2 3 4.
Check 1 2 3 4.
Do you guys like run a compressor on this afterwards?
This is a microphone test. 1 2 1 2.
Hey
like
there, Dane Lamont, episode 41.
Check. Test. 1 2 3 4.
Check 1 2 3 4.
What do you think? Just move it a little bit.
Actually, I think what we should do is Dane was.
You want to spin it?
Yeah, let's spin it because it's not going to have any problem picking me up.
No,
because I'm a loud fucker.
That's probably as good as that right there.
Well, now it's pointing at me, correct?
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's going to
And
catch. That
yeah.
should catch the three of you. So let's try it one more time.
I can push it further across the table.
Wait.
Let's not let it go. This is a microphone check. 1 2 1 2.
This is Dane Lamont speaking on episode 41.
My question of the night is Waterboy the beginning movie to Aquaman?
Yeah.
I'm sitting beside Al.
Foreskins, yay or nay? Is this live? Man,
That was live.
Fine.
This is Dane Lamont speaking on episode 41.
Flexing my podcast lore on this show from 2
You
episodes
are.
ago. Yeah.
I'm sitting beside Al.
Foreskins, yay or nay?
That came out okay.
Yeah, it did.
All right. Okay, so that'll be.
That killed our one Redditor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pulled
the
one.
hell?
I pulled one guy in. Like I made a Reddit page, and I pulled one guy in from Reddit, and like that was when Jason decides to start talking about circumcision.
That was
He says in the chat, "What the hell is this?" It was gone.
what was hilarious was that I know this is going to sound like a joke, but I listened to a podcast called The Dick Show because his name's Dick Masterson. He was on like the Dr. Phil show, and it's mostly like a comedy show, but they brought in a guy that did a whole documentary on circumcisions and why it's kind of messed up. And then I go like, well, that's cool. And then hey, I haven't listened to Jason's show for a while. First minute, they go like, so let's talk about what. I said, what is it with foreskins? Is there something is something in the news? Why is everyone talking about this?
Okay, hold on. Let me get the. I gotta go copy and paste links here, and
Yeah. Social media.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I should go on Facebook and say,
Oh, yeah.
Copy link. Facebook.
Where's the link at? I think I found the link.
I haven't posted it yet.
It's gonna say in 1
Social
second.
meltdown.
Yeah,
I'm getting there. Hold on. Here's the link to
Whoa.
Wow, he's got some serious stuff going on.
No, it's a tile.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was an early investor, so I get a bunch of these for free.
I see.
Yeah. So I never lose my keys now.
Aha. Yeah, but what happened? He can't remember what row he parked the car in.
Right. He's got something that does that too.
Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Okay. Is that this posted?
What the hell?
Here's the links. So what do I do? Under the shares.
Oh, Mikey sent us a picture of him with Flower and Gino. Oh wait, you did send the show notes, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm going on airplane mode now.
Can't you just mute things?
I'm just putting mine in
I
like a
can.
manner mode in case.
Bad manner mode?
Yeah,
always the
that's
best.
what mine's on, is bad manner mode.
Yeah.
Episode 41. Episode.
Hey, Ryan Weaver followed us on Twitter.
He's like all over the place.
What a guy.
What a guy. Oh, is he a guy? I thought he was
He
a
could be the guy.
sexy Japanese guitar player. Girl.
Guitar player guy, girl.
We shouted that out. I can't remember who it was, but one of their shows, somebody shouted it out. I love you, you sexy Japanese guitar playing girl. And he just stood there and turned red in the face.
That's awesome.
Okay. I'm not going to put it on.
What aren't you going to do?
Put it on Reddit.
Oh, come on. Let's get that
come
one
on.
back. Come on.
You would? Okay.
I wanna
okay.
Reddit.
Oh, fine.
And
The
put a
Reddit
notice
crew
on
can be
there. No
fun.
foreskins.
Yeah.
Foreskin free.
Yeah, cut
No,
out
no,
that
we'll talk
discussion.
about what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
If I
Well,
want
just
to,
a sucker, man.
Yeah.
oh,
And then he goes,
Then-
damn it! And you know,
then we'll hit him with the taint.
Yeah. Can
There's,
that be trimmed?
There's
The
nothing-
perineum.
there's nothing quite as, I don't know, as alluring as the forbidden fruit of a man's perineum.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Now we can assume in this through Tolkien's unreleased works that the dwarves were definitely circumcised, but elves, jury's still out.
Yeah,
Jury's still out on
yeah,
that.
yeah. Actually, I would think that the elves would be circumcised and the dwarves might not be.
I think
You
that's
know
he
what?
meant.
Yeah, dwarves are pretty gross fuckers. In
Yeah,
general.
they
They're
probably.
totally-
Yeah. I would think that the clean living elves would, you know.
Yeah.
Right there, it's on Reddit.
Well, you know, I mean, they're the Hebrews of Middle Earth, right? You know. Jesus.
They're the salt of the land.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Ready?
No, I'm still sharing, and take it easy.
Holy crap. I got shit all over me.
Share post now. I shared yours.
You share post
There you go.
Now we just lost all of our Chinese listeners.
Great.
Oh,
We had one listener on Reddit, and
you
fucked
mock me
it up.
around the eye.
Fucked it up.
Shut up. We're going to get banned.
What?
I don't know.
Ban hammer.
Shannon
Shannon
Bam.
Bam. Coming down on you.
All right.
I've
I got
actually
the
had a
battery
lot of
blank.
guys getting deplatformed on YouTube and stuff.
Oh hell yeah.
You get
that was
someone
cool.
mad
I
at
like
you,
that.
they'll just make content claims on you so hard,
Oh, yeah.
whether they're legitimate or not.
Yeah.
I'd tell them go back and sit through all 41. Well, we didn't have.
Oh, they can't,
How
but,
many
like-
do we have on there? I don't know.
Hey, we got 2 people so far. Hi, 2
Woo-hoo.
people.
Hi, 2 folks.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Give me all these
Getting
water.
stretched out. You
Yeah,
ready?
yeah. You guys do your vocal ones. I'll do this, you know.
This
I'll
one's
stretch my
this one's
diaphragm.
from Mikey. The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
That's right.
Oh, nobody brought the little water jug.
Linger
Well, it's
longer.
at Mikey's.
Yeah. Oh, it is his housewarming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I know. Dude. Thank you. Thank you. Though. Look like a fucking librarian for guns or whatever.
Librarian.
Okay.
In this institution.
And 3, 2, What's going on, everyone? It's Jay from the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee here with another episode. This week, before we get started, let's present the committee. For those of you listening at home, you can't tell yet, but the round table is definitely different this evening. For those of you watching at home on YouTube, you can already see that the table looks different. That's cool. Like I said, my name is Jay. With me this evening is co-host and co-founder, the Red Warlock, the Bearded One, the Professor himself, John J. Feathers.
Good evening.
Across the table, the hidden ninja fourth member, the often seen, never understood,
Imitated, never duplicated.
the Reverend Al Scarton.
Woo! Thank you.
Ryan Weaver, comedic gold. I said,
Reverend
I
Al.
don't get it. And he goes, wait a minute.
Oh.
That's a take on Al Sharpton,
Yes,
isn't he? Goes, yes, it totally
Yes.
is.
The Vitamin Man.
The Vitamin
So-
Man, Al Scarton.
Thank you.
And to my right, with us, returning to the show.
Return guest.
Our first return guest.
Very hyped.
A man who I just passionately call Punisher Dane. You may remember him from our Survival Canada show, I do believe is what it was. We all lived. Dane did not.
No, I don't think. And what's hilarious, I took that in high school for a chemistry class. And I was so cocksure I'd win that, and I still crashed. It's hilarious.
Canada's tough, dude.
It
Yeah.
is. Co-host. Whoa.
Whoa.
I'm
He just
fired.
got elevated.
I did.
Yes, give us an update.
Yeah, Katrina. Actually, we'd like to once again thank Dane. From the very beginning, when we were trying to get this little shindig off the ground, he had a lot of
We owe a lot to this.
yeah, and a lot of insight that we just didn't have, and he did. So, welcome to the show, Punisher Dane Lamont.
Punisher Dane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Say it, bitch. Say Punisher. Yeah.
say it. So
I kind of feel like, man, this must how Shatner feel in every interview he's ever done.
So before we move on to the media and the minutes, the minuets, let's take a moment here to present arms. I have with me this evening, as always, the Thesis BR9 Regent. This is the high power cloppy, and as you can see, it is clear.
As I can see, it is beautiful. I myself have with me this evening a Browning High Power Classic Mark III.
There you go. It works.
As you can see.
Is your bag close by?
Yeah.
Can we pull it out just for?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Al.
Tonight, since it is cold in Western Pennsylvania, I brought out the Auto Ordnance A1, the made by
I understand.
Con Arms 45 ACP, and it also is
It's clear.
clear.
We're safe.
And with a lovely
It's got some lovely custom grips.
the custom grips and the barrel weight on it. Yeah, so
Dane?
Well, I am shocked this is on YouTube right now. My God, this really hit me. I'm surprised this is. Anyway, I have a nice Glock 17 on loan from my good cousin Jason here. I really appreciate that, my good sir.
It is clear.
Glock
Yeah.
17.
Trust me, we all did safety checks before the show. So, you know, drink and shoot responsibly, kids.
And
Yeah.
good trigger trigger discipline there. He kept his booger
Yeah.
hook off
That's
the
the
back.
first thing I learned at the range.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know what? I literally have gotten to the point where if I see like chicks cosplaying as their like
I
animated
know it's
video
annoying,
game
isn't it?
characters,
It makes
and
you
they
crazy.
and they do this,
Yeah.
and they're not intent to kill the
Right.
photographer or
Right,
whatever.
right.
I go like, bitch, go back to the range. Learn some
hook off the-
discipline.
Booger hook off the bag
Yeah.
switch.
bitch.
Yeah. And this kind of will lead right
They don't
into
call you
the.
Punisher Dane for nothing.
That's true.
No, you gotta learn. You via osmosis. I learned
That's
about
right.
guns.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will save this for the meeting, the minutes, as we're going to go right into here. The first note I have here in the notes is that, as you can tell, our third co-host and co-founder, handsome man himself, Michael J. Covino, is not with us this evening. He is currently in recovery. His surgery went well as can be expected. and he's at home recovering. I've said that, but with we didn't want to not include him with this, so here is in honor of him, the Dan Weston 44.
Give it a spin. Give it a
and
spin.
I'm not going to do it as good.
I'm going to tell you what right
But,
now.
Did I do it okay?
Okay, but not as good.
Not as good?
Not as good
Okay.
as Mikey.
But we did want to have it in the room because it's just that important to us.
Yes.
So it'll
Mikey
be.
has a better spin.
That is a
Would it be
BFG.
sanctioned in an actual Russian roulette match? Jury's still out.
Jury's still out.
Depends on what country you're in.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Different federations.
We might be playing by Uzbekistan rules. You never know.
The
Mozambique.
guns are rusty in
Mozambique.
Uzbekistan.
And then this also kind of segues into my second point of the evening. Apparently, the swindler, as he's laid up and on drugs in the hospital bed, convinced one of the one of the employees of said hospital to become a Patreon member. So we do have a new Patreon member this week, and we will toast you once we have whiskey in our glass.
Do we actually
tip the hat?
have the name?
I don't have an official name, but apparently, from what I was told, that they are trying to be a podcast themselves. So it's the podcast name.
Okay.
Of the Cosmic Roadshow.
Awesome.
So that is our first official.
Definitely tip our hat off to the Cosmic
absolutely.
Roadshow. Is there a link?
No, I don't think
yet.
they've started yet. I think this is all still preliminary.
We'll be sure to give them a nod.
We are the Punisher to their Cosmic Roadshow. Isn't that scary?
That's really scary.
I also have here, being Maker's Mark ambassadors, Al included, we figured we would pass on a little bit of ambassador news that I received in the email tomorrow, actually, December 13th. Received
the email tomorrow.
Shush. Tomorrow on Bravo at 9 p.m., Top Chef, they actually visited the Maker's Mark distillery earlier, I think this summer, and they filmed some stuff. And apparently the episode that is going to air on tomorrow is going to be tomorrow on Bravo, and you can check out some
13.
The 12-13. You can check out some of the inside look at the distillery and other mouth-watering dishes can be made with Makers.
That'll be interesting to watch anyways, just now that I'm an ambassador, to actually, it's like another little sneak peek inside.
I'm totally not tuning in.
Me either.
Speaking of not tuning in, did you know that we have social media?
What
is that?
It's true.
Is that on the interweb?
It's on the dark webs.
Check out my live journal.
We're on 4chan. We have a Facebook, which we just shared the link all across the universe there. Hi. We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter. We have a Reddit page. We have a YouTube page, which you are watching right now. We have an email, which is wednesdaynightwhiskey@gmail.com. We also have a Patreon. Now, guys.
Wait.
What?
How do you spell that?
Oh, God. It's not a burden. It's actually brings me kind of lifts me up.
Yeah, we love how you spell it.
It's real simple. You type into your browser www.patreon.com and / Wednesday Night Whiskey, or no, I think it's Wed Night Whiskey.
That's what's happening. Everybody's trying to sponsor us, and they're
going to the wrong. No, it's Wednesday Night Whiskey. I'm right. You're wrong. What it is, it's a reoccurring donation. What you do is you go to our website, you sign up, and you give us your money. It's great. We just received our first big Patreon paycheck. It's in our account, and we
finally got the first one.
Yeah. Big. It's a pretty decent paycheck as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
For being less than a year into this show.
Honestly, I mean, we joke, but we super appreciate
it. And what it's going to go to, everyone thinks we're going to buy whiskey. Hell no, it's going to go into the web hosting fee for coming up in January.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Everybody thinks you just get a podcast and do something cool like show up and drink whiskey, but no.
Actually, really, you got to pay for stuff too.
Really, you just pay hosting fees and buy shit.
And actually, the last time Dane was on the show, he's who introduced us to coffee. That is ko-fi.com, which has yielded 0 cups of coffee.
That's true.
You stingy jerks. As while Dane can't sleep at night, he's rolling so much coffee.
That's right.
We literally got I won't talk about it too much. We got a nice donation from a guy in Texas recently, which was really nice. That's what I kind of like. Is Patreon is for more like regular stuff.
Yeah.
And coffee's just like some dude just really liked my opinion on Creed 2 and just had to give me money for it.
See,
It
I
was
like
great.
that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's really interested in talking about, like
Foreskin.
foreskin or not
Yeah.
foreskin,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and they like that idea, like
Reddit users are
It's like,
gobble that right up.
Here, son,
Oh,
buy
you just
yourself some
use
stem
foreskin
cells.
and gobble in the same sentence.
He did.
Welcome to our pay site, kids.
Yeah.
Hope you're 21 or older.
Yeah.
Well, 18, whatever. So other than that, we have a PayPal account, which if you want to cut out the middleman altogether, please just send us a message. I will give you the information. You can donate to us directly. The next portion of our show would be
Forgot to
the
mention something.
what did I forget? We have a Redbubble. Oops. I was actually going to get into that. They've been doing deals, pretty much a deal every day since Black Friday. So if you want to get some Wednesday Night Whiskey swag, I'm usually only posting the good stuff, which includes either everything or typically just the apparel.
Yeah.
Go on there, buy some shirts. We've been selling some shirts over the last week and a half, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we recently went on and we've been doing a little bit of red bubbling. And I got to say that I'm super pleased with clean, quick, efficient service.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's at your door pretty much as soon as you hit enter. I mean, it's awesome.
So yeah, if you want to get some fresh Wednesday Night Whiskey swag, you can feel free to do so. That is redbubble.com/people/Wednesday Night Whiskey. Yeah, I think so. There's too many variants. I don't know. It might be Wed Night Whiskey. Just type them both in. You'll find us.
Just find us.
We'll be there. So the next portion of our show is usually the presentation of whiskey. However, we're going to kind of intermix that all at the same time. So while we start talking about our first little discussion topic here, I think Dane will start preparing this, so to speak. And then we will get ready to go from there. So do you want to?
Yeah. First off, I see this as an exchange program between our fine nations.
Right on.
Nation of Night Whiskey, Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee, and Punisher Body Count.
Right.
And that's best place for all things Punisher and like a weird Siskel and Ebert threatening to kill each other every month or so situation. Good stuff.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
what was I going to say? Part of our tradition on our podcast is that, and believe it or not, people really dig it when we do it. We always have a Christmas episode where we do something a little bit different, break it from format. Like we focus on a movie or some kind of media.
Okay.
Literally, we're aiming to do like an audiobook collection of Punisher fan fiction where
That's
I pay
awesome.
like voice actors to read this stuff. I'm
That's
really looking
awesome.
forward to that. So that's where our money goes. It's
Yeah,
pretty
right,
terrible.
right.
You need voice actors?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
it's
Like,
voice-
I get hiding.
Yeah.
Hiring voice actors.
Yeah,
Hey.
voice actors.
fuck, this is great.
Look at my
Oh,
Ewan
Yeah,
McGregor.
you-
Looks like some of my coffee money's going to more box wine this month. Anyway,
I get paid in box wine also.
that's great.
Just share shingles.
But part of what we do is that, yeah,
Your mother
Yeah.
back.
my students don't get the Saturday Night Live Jeopardy
I'm sure they don't.
references. It kills my soul.
I'm sure.
Anyway, they part of what Jake and I do is that we exchange gifts on the air. Like we send each other stuff through Amazon and we open it up via the air. My co-host, by the way, lives in Indiana, so like it's just this cool like long distance Secret Santa thing that we do, and like literally sometimes it's really heartwarming. And last year it was literally a book, a cookbook on vegetarian solutions to combating heart disease, because it was like a running joke that I had a heart attack because I ate some like really spicy chicken,
Yeah.
and literally that simmered for a long time, like as a running joke, like Dane's gonna have a heart attack
Right.
or whatever. And then it's like he gives me this fucking book on the air, and I've never been destroyed so hard
That's good.
on a show. Like literally, people in Saudi Arabia are like, "Oh, it's so funny! He got him again." But they enjoyed the book anyway. So part of what I wanted to do for this show is give you guys a gift. Here's a little thing I've been doing. I'm a Renaissance man. Not only am I an actor, podcaster, radio broadcaster, and educator, I'm now a T-shirt mogul. So part of my family, we own Texas Hot Dogs. It's a family institution. It's been around for over
Oh,
100 years. Okay,
That's
yeah,
badass,
baby.
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And my father runs the one on 58th Street, right by the mall. And we were super proud of it being around for 100 years. I mean, my grandfather bought it off of another member from my grandmother's side, and we basically renovated and rebuilt it over the years and expanded. It's something we're very proud of.
As you should be.
And we've never had to do like any serious advertising,
Right.
like ever
Word of mouth.
for this. Yeah, really, it was really impressive. I had to talk my dad into getting like a Facebook page. Like,
Right,
you don't
right.
want them to make one for you;
Right,
it'll be bad. But so my sisters and I decided we want to celebrate, and there's a banner out in front of the store right now celebrating 100 years, just thanking Altoona.
Yeah.
And the other thing we did is we made some shirts, and this was like a real. This is, I think, was Mikey the large?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe so.
Mikey.
Well, this is the large for Mikey. I'm just going to put this aside.
Sure.
And now I apologize. I didn't know you'd be here
That's
today.
quite all
I
right.
would have gotten your shirt as
Yeah,
well.
Omar probably wasn't around to make a tent, so that's okay.
Okay. But I just wanted to hand some of these shirts out. I know you're a 2XL, right, Jason?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh wait, this one's.
Well, you
another one
can't
for-
have
No,
that
it's
one.
not-
No,
no,
I grabbed 4 of them because there's. All right, let me see here. I believe this one's the. Let's see here. Okay, so here you go, Jay.
Woo.
And
Did you get one for his beard?
I should have.
That could be the large.
And here you
Thank
go,
you
Jason.
Thank you
My
very
good
much,
man.
sir.
Yeah, I really, I just appreciate. I love this show, and I wanted to spread some Christmas cheer.
That is super
That's
appreciated.
awesome.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, Dan.
I would
yeah.
like to. We don't have any whiskey out yet,
Not
but I
yet.
would like to toast you and say thank you very much. And I would certainly like to toast the long tradition of Texas hot dogs.
oh,
100
thank you.
years.
Yeah,
Yes.
Here, here.
I am like unironically super proud of
100
my
years.
dad,
You should
my
be.
family.
You should be.
Like we all participated. Like that was my part-time job. I never had to put in
Yeah.
a resume until I got to college because that was the job.
Yeah.
But yeah, and not only that, but if anyone in the Altoona area or outside of it wants a shirt, out in Altoona, you can just go right in the store. We have a mannequin that my sister set up. My
That's awesome.
sister Kate, so you can see it live.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a nice shapely mannequin for a shirt made for men, but a lot of women buy it too.
Yeah, sure.
But and by the way, these shirts are made in Altoona, right in Ravine Industries. These guys normally make scrubs for nurses and stuff, but I knew a guy there, and he was just on top of it and made a ton of them right off the bat. But what's nice is Facebook allows you to have an online store. So if anyone is listening to the show, and it's like, dang, I don't live in Altoona. I've mailed shirts out to people in California, Florida,
That's
a guy in Alaska. I ship them first class, free shipping, dogs. The trick is you bake it into the cost.
Right.
Anyway, but free shipping,
Right.
it's good stuff.
We've never learned that here.
No, oh, dude, people get don't fight it. Free shipping, bake it into the cost.
Yeah.
It's just simpler.
Yeah.
For the love of God. Otherwise, you'll kill yourself just thinking about the shipping and weighing of ounces or whatever. You think you're a drug deal, but just shirts. It
Right.
sucks putting
Right.
that on a scale.
Yeah.
Um,
I should also mention too. I know
Yeah.
that I should say for Mikey, he would say thank you too, even though he can't be here.
well, of course, I love Mikey, man.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
such a thoughtful, clever guy in general on the show.
Quite talented,
Yeah, absolutely.
intelligent, and talented man.
Yeah.
Did anybody give an update on Mike?
He did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that.
He's still hustling for the show, apparently. So
Yeah,
that's
he's
cool.
hustling, baby.
I'm
Yeah.
going to interrupt and use Dane's awesome Texas hot dogs.
Yeah.
As a segue, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
To address Texas Owl, not AL, but OWL, who has made a comment on our video feed.
Okay.
He says, yeah. And obviously he's a sarcastic, smarmy motherfucker. It says, yeah, let's drink with guns on the table. Real responsible gun ownership.
This is what I'm saying. Like you are
So,
cruising for a bruising from terms of service.
so that's okay.
Okay.
But that's a topic that it's come up, and I think we can address it. All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a dumb comment, regardless.
So, right. Thumbs down, dude.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we are all active. The members of the show here are usually, we're very involved and active in guns rights issues and Second Amendment, and we're all concealed carriers, okay? And we have a podcast. And the podcast is a discussion podcast. where there is always, we've done very well so far, but there is always the potential for discussion to have a disagreement in it.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing here, Mr. Owl, is, as you can, if you would notice from the beginning of the show, what we're doing, we always clear, check, and make sure that every weapon is completely clear before we even present it. But this is to symbolize, I believe it was you, Jay, that came up with, where did you run across that?
To show our true good and gentlemanly intentions.
Our true good and gentlemanly intentions. That no matter how heated we get with each other, no matter how much of some smarmy MFers we become on this show, nobody's going to shoot each other in the face.
Yeah.
Over some good discussion.
So,
What's that saying?
he says we should show that we are clear.
Yeah, they do. For the record,
that's Shannon.
Yeah,
and that we taste whiskey.
Yeah, I'll say this:
we do not get sloshed on the show.
No. The other thing I'll say is I'm not like you guys. I am not a concealed carry owner. I don't even own a gun right now.
Right.
I've gone to the gun range with friends, and I know how to operate guns safely, just from how I was raised and whatever.
Right.
I wouldn't be here if I thought my life was in danger on any level. Just if I can bring at least that level of credibility to it. I don't use guns, and I have no fear of any of these things.
Completely clear. Completely. There's nothing. We are as clear can be. We're going to have a discussion. We're going to taste a little bit of whiskey. Nobody's getting wasted.
Yeah.
And we're clear. So that's a factor that because of the fact that comment came up, I thought it would be
it definitely had to be addressed.
It was a good time to address it. So, I mean, other people may have different opinions.
Speaking of whiskey, though.
Yeah.
I think we should get some.
Okay, so now let's segue back into, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but before that got too low in the feed, I wanted to address
I completely understand. I can't wait till you get to the point where you're on Twitch and there's like 1,000 people just like spamming shit and you don't have time to look at all of them.
Yeah.
Unless they give you money to respond to it. That'll be good times for you.
Well, speaking of which, if you want some stories, you can buy some stories on Patreon. But
cool.
Yeah. Never mind.
But let's see. I didn't know what order you wanted to go in for whiskey or anything.
It doesn't really matter.
So should I continue a very Dane Lamont Christmas?
Sure.
Sweet. Okay. So
it's all used.
Cool, guys. So anyway, if you want to use your glasses or if you want to keep up purity, that's cool as well.
It's probably
do you want to use your own glasses?
No, I'm saying it's probably good if we don't get them all
crossed. I had that feeling, man. That's why I got you covered, bro.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've gotten into my father's habit or hobby of creating non-alcoholic whiskey.
Right.
And so I wanted to share some of that with you guys because I've been sharing some of it with my friends in general. And I just wanted to get some expert opinions on some of these. Now I'm keeping the labels away from you for a sec because I want some. This would be the last one. This one's pretty popular. Now this one's pure.
Obviously, look at it.
Yeah, it's pretty. This is also why I'm getting like shot glasses. Got to ration some of this jam. What?
Yeah. Rick Wirtz would like to say the Texas
hot dogs rule.
Hey, thank you, dude. Me and my family really appreciate that. For real, we've been getting a lot of kind comments on Facebook as well. Our Facebook reviews are really weird because now they're like, really great T-shirts. I love the gift certificates. Like people think, what is this, a hot topic? Like, how's the food? Like it's kind of hilarious. But anyway, the first one. Here's the thing: the way I make the whiskey, believe it or not, this has not been aged for 14 years.
I can believe that.
What? Yeah. Now we do use the classic ingredients of like 13 pounds of non-alcoholic sugar, some non-alcoholic turbo yeast, and some carbon. And then we have something that like makes all the particles fall to the bottom. Mm-hmm. Then we take it to a still that we only use for cooking crawdads and such. And then we make some nice non-alcoholic whiskey from it.
Now, do you leave some crawdad residue in it? Does that help flavor the whiskey?
I feel like that leaves some nice aftertaste, some nice notes. Yeah. It adds to the peatiness.
Some nice notes. Vanilla with a hint of crawdad.
Yeah, good shit. Good shit. But this essentially what I like to do after making the wash and everything and getting it properly distilled and filtered down and like turned to 80 proof or what have you. 80 proof's normally what I work with here. I add like some essences to try and simulate different
Right,
kinds
and this
of
was
wax.
this was the right.
Okay, so like I had a Highland mix back in October that was just peaty as hell, you know, and like literally me and Dave liked it. That was about it.
Right.
Made my father gag. Like he,
That's
he's not a big whiskey guy in the first place, so that's
right.
not really fair. But or especially Scotch, not a Scotch guy. So this was me trying to simulate a
Oh, don't tell us what.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I
Okay.
thought you wanted to
No.
guess. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. Okay then. So here's a bit for you here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was gonna do is I was gonna give a real.
Go ahead.
I was gonna try to.
Try and guess what I was going for? Or-
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so-
And I'll pour you one here.
Okay. I just like it.
Let me give a little bit of a brief rundown. We could do this
Yeah.
in more detail later on
Sure.
for our listeners, but there's some floral notes there.
Yeah, that's heavy on the floor.
Okay, so let me just interject here. There are 5 to 6, depending on how you what camp you're in.
Right.
Types of Scotch that that are commonly recognized. I myself like to include the 6th. To me, there's a difference. So
Talking about Islay? Like
islands,
sorry.
islands, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
so
no, I meant Speyside. Sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
There's the first one that I'm going to give a little description of the flavors that you typically encounter and what
Okay.
they are before we go any further. Is that
Sure?
cool?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the first type of Scotch that one encounters is a lowlands. And there's not that many lowland distilleries around anymore.
Yeah.
Typical lowland flavors include grass, honeysuckle, cream, toffee, and toast and cinnamon.
The only one I really know of is Annandale, or however you say that one.
Okay.
It starts with a name. Yeah.
And Auchentoshan is probably the most famous lowland.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's a good whiskey. It's the second biggest whiskey region, but there's not that many distilleries. So they tend to be light and gentle with no peatiness.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of them are triple distilled, and there's very little salinity because the area of Scotland where they're located, there's not much brine in the water, so low salinity. Then we have our Speysides. Typical Speyside flavors include apple, vanilla, oak, malt, nutmeg, and dried fruits. So there's very little peat in a Speyside usually.
Yeah.
Or possibly no peat at all. Some of the world's most famous whiskeys produced in Speyside include the Glenlivet, Glenfiddich, Glengrant, and the Macallan. So this is a really popular type of whiskey. And a straight Highlands, which is the third type we're moving into, typically includes like a fruitcake kind of taste, maltiness, oak, heather, dried fruits, and smoke. So there's definitely we're starting to get into something that can definitely include some of that peaty, smoky thing, which Jay likes so much.
Woo!
Not really.
Speaking of which, Lagavulin on sale right now.
Yes.
For
Ooh.
$85.
Some of the more famous Highlands are Dalmore and Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie. Then you have a not very common one, the Campbelltowns. I don't even think we've ever done a Campbelltown.
I don't think we have.
Yeah.
This is news.
There's only 5 left in distilleries left. Typical Campbelltons they have a briny, smoky, dried fruit flavor. Can include vanilla and toffee. Not a lot of people have had them. I think I've only ever had one. They tend to be very robust and a lot of times heavily smoky. And then you have my favorite, the Isla malts, which there's a little more of those, but there's still under 10 of them. You get Ardbeg, Lafroig, Lagavulin, Bowmore is another one.
I just picked up on Bag 10.
Did you really?
Yes, I did like it. It just has that little bit of sweetness to
He's
it.
becoming a smoke guy.
I gave it to the beard.
Yeah.
The beard turned its beard.
Right.
Turned
Turned his
it didn't
smoky
like
head,
the
yeah,
10.
Yeah.
But I thought that little bit of sweetness was just,
Just
a little bit
right.
of fresh leather, a little bit
Right.
of sweetness. A
It's
little
fresh
smoke.
leather is what it's about, dude.
No, you didn't like it.
So here's what I thought was interesting with the description I found for Isle of Scotches: seaweedy, briny, carbolic soap. That was the one I thought was great. Apple, smoking kippers, and peat.
Smoking
Smoking kippers, but smoking kippers, baby.
I love kippers. Maybe that's why I like it.
The region is known for its peaty single malts, and it's believed that whiskey distillation reached Scotland from Ireland via Islay. So it's probably that tradition has probably been going on there longer than anywhere else. And then we come to the last one that I like to include. I can definitely tell a difference. Other people don't include this as a category of scotches, but they just refer to them as the islands. Now, Islay is an island in the Hebrides, but there are other islands there as well, and they usually just get included in the Highland malts.
Mhm.
But to me, they do have a separate character.
That's, you know what, that was me being semi-dyslexic because I said Islay, and that's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most famous one is probably Talisker, which is
Mhm.
my I love that stuff. There's under 10 of those as well. Typical island flavors include smoke, brine, very salinity, there.
Mhm.
Oil, black pepper, and honey is a typical island taste.
And it's funny because the only time that I've ever really gotten a black pepper hint was when we had blackened.
That's
Mhm.
yeah.
It's interesting.
Interestingly, Orkney, the Orkney Islands are also included in the island malts and Highland Parks from there.
That were okay.
Or the other one is Scapa, which I definitely like Scapa. So at any rate, we're kind of really crossing over into sort of like, I like to think of the island malts as a cross between a true Islay malt and a Highland. And that they typically do have that flavor. So I just kind of wanted to put those taste profiles out
That's
there a little
great.
bit before
Yeah.
we did that, because we're about to taste it.
Mhm.
And maybe we could reference some of those a little
Oh,
bit.
man, I feel like you've really hyped this up. I'm just a fan.
Right.
All right.
All right. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, I got some too.
I think I can tell from the nose.
Okay, man, that'd be impressive.
Definitely, there's some floral. Definitely floral. A little bit of grass.
Yeah, like a sweet grass.
A little sweet grass. A little cream at the end.
Yeah, little nice creamy finish. I'm catching. So now what I'm catching is what I always probably mistake for peat. Like,
I'm not getting any peat at all.
Okay,
peat at all.
so
I
what?
will tell you, it's a lot less than my last batch, the peat. It was not a focus of this blend.
Yeah, I can't detect much at
Okay.
all.
Yeah.
I'm getting cream.
I have
I'm
my
getting heavy
recipe
cream at
list.
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very creamy at the end of the
Actually,
finish.
as you're chewing,
Yeah.
you can definitely tell that.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot.
Creaminess.
I'll be 100% honest with you. Before we even go any further, for like a non-aged,
yes, this is
do it
very
on your
polite
own.
sipping.
This
Yes.
I have had scotches that are worse than this, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is really good.
I really appreciate that because it is unorthodox how we do it.
Mhm.
But we try and take the
Well, there's
steps
a point. What is
seriously.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to
Let me know when we're ready to hazard a guess.
Yeah.
And we're guessing what region.
Yes.
This is supposed to be modeled after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know that's kind of unfair because even within the regions, there's different.
Absolutely,
profiles, but
absolutely.
This was just my general thing.
To me, I'm getting like a heavy. It's the floralness that's making me.
Yeah,
That's what's to me the big
yeah,
tip up. I think we're all going to
The
guess the
sweet
same
floral.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's,
And the grass and the cream.
Yes.
so.
Are we-
Highland.
No,
Yeah.
no, I think it's a lowland malt.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a Highland.
Jason's the correct one there. 'Cause
Well,
the Highland,
the professor.
the Highland malt's a lot peatier than
Yeah,
Lowland.
yeah.
Lowland focuses more on A slight more sweetness, a little bit
Mhm.
smooth.
Mhm.
It's a smoother.
It's definitely smooth.
texture.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you some of the recipe list right off the bat here. First off, there's about 2 milliliters of sweet vanillin extract.
Mhm.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
in there.
There's only about 2.1 milliliters of peat smoke essence.
Just a little bit.
Meanwhile,
Can't-
for reference, the Highland whiskey that goes 9.5
Uh-huh.
for
Wow.
peat.
On
Really?
the peat scale.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think I made mine just a 9, and it was still extreme for a lot of people. But like, if that's your thing, it's great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was very polarizing when I made that. There's also some fruity esters that we put in. It's
Mhm.
it's funny you kept talking about the floral or the
Mhm.
essence, because I think that's part of it.
It's the fruity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in the nose of it.
And
Yeah.
then there's like a little bit of some distiller's caramel, like 1 milliliter.
It's a
for the
little
7
toffee.
I did catch that.
Yeah.
I caught that actually in the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that one.
And of course, glycerin. You know?
Of course.
Well.
That's- Yeah. It's made with love with glycerin. Glycerin's the ultimate cheat code for this kind of stuff. If you want to make anything drinkable,
AB.
Glycerine.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was that, Al?
Oh, that was the cheat code.
Yeah, it is. Oh yes,
That's down,
Konami
right?
code. Yeah.
Although
yeah.
I do think it's probably going to blow my palate having.
Yeah.
That is definitely enjoyable.
Oh, that's good to hear.
And it's got a Lowland color to it.
It does. It's very light.
Oh yeah. I mean, the other ones we've made are darker.
Dude, this
by
is
long shots.
really good.
That's
Yeah.
really nice to hear, man.
For
Like I said,
yeah.
It's only like my second real go at it.
I'll be honest
Really?
with you, man. For what you're doing,
Yeah.
like, and considering the unorthodox, I mean, dude, it takes people 16 years to produce something
Yeah.
that tastes.
This is
like this.
basically making a hamburger in a factory,
Right,
Like,
right.
with no cows involved.
We've had
Oh, no,
yeah.
we've had a 12-year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On seriously, like we had the and I don't want to throw them under the bus here. Not that I'm expecting an endorsement, but like the Loch Lomond.
Yeah.
This
This
is
is
better than
that.
Loch Lomond.
It is for
Yeah.
real.
That's
Yeah.
wow. That's high praise, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I mean,
That's
this
very
could have gone either way. You know what I mean? When you're doing it unorthodox like that, you never know.
Yeah, we've
So-
had some that
Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, we've had some that are just like we've had just like basically like Kool-Aid pours of like, let's make a nice amaretto. I one thing I didn't bring was the spiced rum, because like
Yeah.
that's, to me, that's like the bag of chips you just didn't want, but it's what's in there.
Right.
You know,
Right.
was not a fan, didn't even bother with that.
Yeah.
To me, this is the top 3 that I've made or my dad's made.
I'm honest to God, dude. I'm super impressed.
It's very
That's
good.
great. Now, this one will be a little bit more difficult because while you could definitely aim it toward a region, I tell you,
Mhm.
this one's based off a certain brand.
Mm.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to try and go a little bit easier on you fellas.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about that. I noticed I went a little. Is that too much?
a little bit.
Okay, I'll pour some of it back.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we can't kill the palate. you
Now,
know?
I hear you.
That is one thing that I'm on 2 different Facebook sites, Scotch Addicts and Bourbon Addicts,
Press that over.
and they're great sites as far as the amount of involvement. But there's times on there where somebody will jump on and they'll show a picture of 9 bottles, and it's like, this is our tasting tonight, and it's just like, okay, after 3,
After
what
three,
are you
you're
doing?
done.
And
I don't
right.
get it.
And we say that from experience. We did
Oh.
have a big a blind tasting show. Special guest Brian Fresh was with us that night, and I think we did 10
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
and
guys
I mean, and if you're watching at home, like this tasting is like tenfold what we were doing that
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
I mean, we
and we
were
were still
literally
going.
just getting little. But after the third whiskey, your palate's shot.
It's gone. Yeah.
I've been to
Bit of
those
a
tastings.
palate
They give
cleanser,
you
yeah.
water just and like, or some of them.
And
have
we
the-
were pounding water, and,
Yeah.
and it was just like, what's this? It got so bad that we couldn't tell the difference between.
You're not going to embarrass us, are you? We couldn't. Go ahead.
Yeah, we couldn't tell the difference between Highland Park and Lagavulin.
We should have made that a Patreon.
Yeah.
At the time, we couldn't.
Now, my question
Right
yeah.
now,
was, how long does it take start to finish to produce that?
It's a good question. It depends. Like for the wash itself, that's pretty straightforward. Like the carbon, the yeast, and
Wow.
the sugar, and everything like that. We normally wait about 7 to 10 days on
Okay.
just making sure that the the chemistry is allowed to happen and make sure all the sugar gets dissolved. Sometimes that takes longer. Sometimes it
depends on the temperature.
Yeah, we even have a thing called turbo yeast, which is amazing. Like we and I really can't figure. I really can't justify using regular yeast anymore because we tried with that and it actually hurt the alcohol content for regular. I don't know, but then after that, now
that's another thing to be said. You're starting with sugar.
Yeah,
and ending up with this.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you're
Well,
he's making Scotch
it's a
flavored
food coloring,
moonshine,
basically.
you know
But
what I mean? Like,
yeah. So so I'll say like
I've never had moonshine that tasted like Scotch. You know what I mean? That's,
Well, it's no. Maybe he has a new idea for a first. Yeah.
And then after the wash is done, you need to distill that within like 7 days or whatever. The distilling process is probably the biggest pain in the ass. Like I completely understand why Appalachian or just straight rednecks do it by a river or whatever.
Right.
Because if you're doing it by like a hose or whatever, you have to manage the water pressure the whole time. There's ways around it to automate it, but it's but it's difficult. Like you just spend the next 4 hours your hand on a knob. It's not great. And but like the whole process is fascinating. And then it gets distilled. And then if you want to, then you just have some really good vodka or whatever. Then we put it through some filters, like coffee filters. We even literally used like the fibers from a pillow one time just to get we had some problems with like some yeast molecules and stuff or carbon. We were a little bit afraid of getting in the stuff. You can even see a little bit of it on the bottom here. It's still not it's 99.5%, you know, clean. Yeah. And everything like that.
Is that certified?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
As much as like hand soap or whatever. But like they we take that and like literally we get this up to like 190, you know. And then we can put it through, then we add water, you add your little readers of which name escapes me at the time, and you watch that float till you get it to a solid 80, 85 proof.
Okay.
And that gives us a lot. Like I won't say how much on the air or anything like that, but a fair amount to play with.
So how many weeks are we into this into the process by now?
This one is a solid like 15 days. This one is longer, and I'll have to explain that a little bit later. Okay, cool. But this one's like
15 days.
You can produce something that,
and it feels a lot longer when you're waiting. It's like, you know, a washed pot never boils or whatever. It just feels forever.
Right.
But yeah, for whiskey, that's nothing.
A watch still never boils. It never pots.
Yeah.
You know what you should do, bud? I don't know if you've done it or not, but you should go up. I don't know how much he does this for the public. Maybe I shouldn't recommend it or not, but you should go up to Cocho's and see if you can actually see how the process that they use. It's fascinating.
Oh, yeah,
sure it is.
Yeah, he'll give you.
It's absolutely. Are you familiar with that guy?
Not really.
Mike Jr. and Senior.
Yeah, we went up there and did a big special. They're the first legal distillery in Cambria County.
Right.
That's
and
Yeah.
we
Kind
went
of
up there.
Nanny Glow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I go by Nanny Glow all the time.
Yeah.
It's actually on the backside of Naniglow. It's easier to go through past Central and Bishop Carroll up the big sawmill hill.
Okay.
And then you hang a left at the top. But yeah, really cool. Just a little wee place. You'd think that you know,
you can drive past it really easy.
In order to be a distillery, it would be like this big building, and it's really not. Right. It's a nice, cozy, warm little joint.
And you'll never meet nicer people.
No,
that's great.
If
someday we ever decide to make this alcoholic, that'll be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right, so I guess we're moving on to this.
Yeah. Let's.
Now this one, the nose is nowhere.
Really light.
Yeah.
See, this is interesting because like the first thing I smelled was the smokiness.
That's why I'm wondering after the taste if the peat's not going to come out.
There's definitely some smokiness.
That actually was an essence we put in there. Yeah.
So this is specifically modeled after a particular brand.
Yeah, but if you can even nail the region, I'll give you it.
Not what I was expecting from the nose.
No, not at all. Very, very smooth.
Wow.
Yeah. And this brand also has, you know, multiple offshoots and whatever. So,
is this modeled after Johnny Walker?
No, not Johnny Walker. Though I understand.
Johnny Walker Gold.
I understand why you're saying that.
Oh, and then a very, very at the way tail end of the finish, I got a big, nice creaminess off the back on the back of the throat.
Yeah.
All right, I'm intrigued. Oh, okay.
I was expecting oil or something. There's no oil in this.
It smells like there could be.
Yeah, but no. You got me stumped.
Yeah, I think.
I will say every region's different.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, you're killing me. What is it?
All right, well here's the parody label, so that'll be your hint.
Hold on, don't give it away yet, Jay.
Really?
Yeah. There you go.
Is it a Highland?
Close. You're in the neighborhood.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really.
That one was actually made by my old man. I can't take credit for that label.
Well, I know your dad. I can totally appreciate
Oh yeah,
it.
yeah. So does that
Great
give?
with wafers and all?
So
bar none.
yeah, that's your 50-50 for this. Who wants to be whiskey connoisseur? Have you figured out the brand?
Well, I mean, actually, no. It could be a couple.
Yeah.
But,
Well, the main thing I was going for was the Glenfiddich profile, like 12 year
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And there, I did make sure that the smokiness was a focus in the essence list and everything like that. There's a slight bit of caramel.
Like I like a Glenfiddich. That's one of my favorite go-tos.
Mm-hmm.
And for me anyway, I've never noticed the smokiness.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I could
Johnny
actually
Walker.
deal with Glenfiddich being a step closer to this smoky wise.
Really?
Maybe some of their other products are. I know.
Yeah.
I haven't got anything past.
Well, we've had the Fire and Cane.
Yeah.
Which,
that was yes. I forgot about that.
It definitely. I mean, from that, yeah, Glenfiddich. Which is
it was a Glenfiddich with a basic focus on the Speyside region in general. But with the recipe list that I have, they actually do have like, do you want to make some Johnny Walker? Do you want to make some Glenfiddich?
See, that's
do
interesting.
You want to make some Glenlivet? And they try and give you the best approximation they can.
That's very interesting because Glenfiddich is
you can go by region or brand. Sorry, go ahead.
One of the interesting things about Glenfiddich is it actually falls where it's located. It actually falls into both the Highland and Speyside region.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
And to my palate, Glenfiddich is more of a Highland malt.
Okay, I could see that.
So to me, I'll be honest with you, I was guessing Glenfiddich a little bit.
Okay.
But that's why I actually said Highland, because to me, Glenfiddich is a Highland.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also smokier.
Yeah,
it's definitely smokier.
That's why I like with the overall, like I like the finish on the first one better than this one.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it kind of struck me as a Johnny Walker because it seemed like because
I
don't mind a Johnny Walker black every once in a while just to mix things up, but I don't like I'm not a big smoky guy. That's been established.
See, I didn't think it was as smoky as a black.
But like a lot of how Mikey said when we tried the maybe it was the Speyburn. When we tried that a couple weeks ago, it's like, bam, crack, pop, and done.
Yeah, right.
And that's what that did for me. It was just like, here's the flavor, and
we're over.
Now it's done.
Yeah, it does do that.
That's why I kind of got pegged Johnny Walker right away because Johnny Walker does that a lot.
For finishes, yeah,
I can see that.
I mean, it's not bad at all.
Dude, I'm super impressed with what you're turning out here in 15 days.
Yeah, that's well, I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
yeah. Now this one, I won't talk about in depth or what have you, because this one is like the gold standard for me, for the family, everything. It's possibly the most popular thing.
So,
is that okay?
Yeah. Is there a combo that if we come over and get 2 dogs with everything, we get
some little yeah, you do that, you get a free pair of handcuffs. It's like a Happy Meal toy. You know?
That's hilarious.
No, Texas Hot Dogs is not affiliated with this segment whatsoever. I want to make that go. That's smart.
Non-alcoholic, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely non-alcoholic.
No. No, but I did kill a man getting these ingredients, so you know.
That's fair.
Nice.
Yeah. Sure. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Actually,
good
I'll add some
lord.
of that to my my.
That's
brew
good.
here.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
I'll finish this off. Wow, this is really nice because this is the last bottle.
Oh
We're making
my
more.
goodness.
Well, I'll sip on this throughout the evening.
No.
No, I'm talking about the nose.
I was
Yeah, it's
impressed by
different. Once again, it's a completely different nose from the last two.
it. Sure is, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, what you're
I'm
pouring out. Now,
fascinated.
is the
by what
base
you'll
the
say.
same?
It's very different.
Okay.
Yeah, even the way
Because
it's made
it's like, how
is
can you
different.
get these three characteristics?
Yeah.
These three different blends, or not the blends, but three different products.
I'll tell you that this was not made the way I make my whiskeys. This is a Tony original.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he does things different than me.
And Tony does things different. Let's toast to Tony. I
Hey,
love you,
wait a
man.
minute. We're supposed to toast to the new.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Cosmic Roadshow.
Cosmic Roadshow.
42. Is that what you
And,
say
and
for
any
Cosmic
and
Roadshow?
any other
There you go. I get
and
that.
any other Patreon member that
Right.
we have had, Rick Wirtz, Ryan Weaver, Scott Knoll, Mario
Mario
Ciccarella,
Ciccarella.
Shannon Hoffman.
I like
Yeah.
that. You go off the list for people. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, we love those guys.
Yeah,
They make it possible.
Was that it? Did I miss him? Did I miss him?
Well, you know that.
can always fix it in post.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still on the nose, man.
Yeah, I'm terrible at smelling profiles, but I love how this one smells.
Wow, your dad outdid himself.
Ooh.
That's a more complex
This is something
one.
I haven't had before. I've only been drinking this scotches for a year.
I'll tell you what's
I haven't
interesting
had
about
this
it.
before, so I can't
It's
guess it.
it's at the same time more complex than the other two,
Mm-hmm.
but yet it doesn't float around and change as much as the other
No.
ones did. It's like the same
It's-
complex flavor
Mm.
the whole time. It's pretty good.
You see, one thing that was that here's what I was expecting from you guys. I'm not trying to be insulting by this moment. Like I thought, well, I just basically act like a little lab rat, putting in my eyedroppers of flavors, and I had a small fear. I was like, well, that's not real whiskey. Like that's not like that's not how whiskey is made. That's not how Scotch is made or whatever. Meanwhile, what my father did was like whiskey is made in oak barrels and stuff, and
Yeah.
I get that, and I respect
yeah.
that whole process.
Yeah.
We don't have oak barrels at
Right.
neither me or my father does.
I'll be honest with you,
yeah.
though. I think if you took some of this
Mhm.
in its raw blend,
Yeah.
and put it in an oak barrel,
Yeah.
and let it age for a while,
Yeah.
you would have something amazing.
Guess what?
Or-
This was soaked in oak.
Okay.
He grabs
you
up.
use-
He takes a lot of
oak
oak
staves?
chips and he
Mhm.
throws it in the not the wash, the actual distilled
Mhm.
product, which is distilled a lot more concentrated than
Mhm.
than what I do and
Yeah.
filtered.
Yeah.
He takes that stuff super seriously, so that keeps the content pure as
Mhm,
possible.
mhm.
Then he takes it down to an 80 proof, and then he just puts it back in a big old jug. Takes a bunch of oak chips, I'd say about 2 solid handfuls, throws that in, shakes it up a bit, and
Mhm.
leaves it alone for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
Mhm.
You
Okay.
know.
Okay.
And like
We're actually
nothing
doing-
else gets added.
We're
Yeah.
actually doing something similar to that right now. We
you
have
should you should look into those.
it's called the oak
oh.
infusion spiral.
Ah,
You
Yeah,
can
okay.
buy
yeah.
you can buy them on eBay or on
aging in a bottle.
Yep.
Yeah, on eBay or Amazon.
Amazon, whatever. It's about this big,
Yeah.
and it does a full fifth.
Yeah.
And you
Now
pop it in, and then it will continue to age while it's in the bottle.
Right.
Because as
Whoa,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
well as whiskey goes, once it's out of the barrel, it doesn't age
That's
anymore. It
what
doesn't
you have,
continue
right.
to mature.
That's what you got.
If that's just it.
Yeah.
That was one of the questions Al actually asked a long time ago. Was
One of the entry
you know,
shows, yeah.
a lot of people they like to hold on to whiskey, and they're like, "Oh, it gets
This
better."
whiskey's 25 years
Years
old.
old.
Yeah,
No,
like-
it's not. It's still 12.
Yeah, right.
That's,
You know,
that's what it was.
But
the
if you
birthday
throw
bottle.
these
Yeah.
oak confusion spirals in, it will start to continually
Process
age
again.
the process.
Right.
And we actually have we bought from the Moonshine Mine Distillery in Nanigla, Pennsylvania. We bought some unaged rye,
135 proof
and
unaged.
we threw in one of the spirals, and it recommends you wait for 2 weeks. And then we tried it, and it was
There was a noticeable
Night-
difference.
It was a
Day.
night
There
and
was a
day.
noticeable
It was
difference.
That's
amazing.
almost magic to me. That's
And then
that's awesome.
so
There
then
was a
what we
noticeable
did was
Yeah.
we decided later we went and we bought 2 more bottles of the unaged rye, put one in stationary, and then the other one has being transported like they used to actually ship, and
We stuck it up on that car.
Agitated.
Yeah.
It's being agitated.
It's being agitated constantly.
Within the bottle.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Right. There
Through
So that
was-
motion. Because
Yeah.
what they would do is they would put the barrels on the ships,
Yeah.
and then they would sail it, and the fact of it being moved,
Oh, holy
it would
shit!
slosh it around
sloshes it around and there's
and
more
make-
surface area.
So
content.
Yeah.
a lot of people will say like, "Wow, this tastes better than this one," but they were bottled at the same time. True, but this one was sloshed and this one wasn't.
Oh yeah,
So we're actually doing that that science experiment now.
that's fascinating. Because with this blend, he every other day he take the jug and just like
There you
Yeah.
go. See, there you
Yeah,
go. Right.
So he's already
just so
doing it.
he's like,
Right,
these
right.
chips aren't settling settling too much. I want to mix it up.
No.
Get that oak.
Well, your
taste to it.
dad's one of the most
Yeah.
intelligent men I've ever
He
met.
he was like
So I
trained
mean, I can
chemi-
totally see that. Didn't he major in chemistry?
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah, right.
He has an amazing
Yeah.
mind. That's what
Yeah.
actually kind of upsets me when people go like, "Oh, it's the hot dog man." It's like he is so much. And once again, he takes pride in
Hey,
his work.
Mikey's here.
Yeah.
Hey, Mikey.
Hey, how you doing, Mikey?
Cilantro.
Oh, by the way, literally, he designs these models. Here's his. And by the
Tony
way,
Daniels.
Yeah. By the way, he doesn't even know what Jack Daniels really. He barely even drinks Jack Daniels. He just thought it was funny.
Good for him.
Literally, all these labels are just like, I thought it was funny,
Yeah.
and
Jack
he
Daniels
just
is
designs it
not
and prints
worth
out
drinking.
stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically his Christmas gift to a lot of his friends, so he
Right.
doesn't have to think too hard.
That's a pretty badass Christmas gift.
I
I'll
know.
take
Yeah,
one.
really.
Yeah, I'd take one.
Yeah, the
Hey,
one
Uncle
thing,
Tony.
if
Yeah.
you do
Hey, Uncle
have,
Tony, hey.
try out those spirals,
Yeah.
there's one thing that's missing from his process,
Yeah.
is he's taking a raw oak, whereas the
Charred.
barrels, yes, are charred.
Yes.
And that's the one thing about the spirals. The
Yeah,
spirals
they're
are charred,
charred.
and it's
Yeah.
a number 3 char.
Yeah.
So it's similar to what you would get if you were to get one of the natural whiskey barrels.
One thing I'll tell you is I'm not sure whether these chips were charred or not. He has 2 bags of it,
Ah,
but I do understand that the charred barrels are just that's an incredibly important element.
Yeah.
it's one
So,
of the
yeah.
elements. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
going to say it's incredibly important.
Oh no,
But
I'm just
different
saying I
people
respect
experiment
that.
with different things. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how
But
you
the
find
number
out.
3 char seems to
But
be pretty damn
it's
popular.
pretty magical.
Yeah.
It is magical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's and if you do go and Google that and just look at the company itself, those little ones that they sell for the fifths, they also designed them for larger manufacturers,
Oh, yeah.
where you can get the to do not just a 53 gallon cask,
Yeah.
but they can also do it if it's still in the still, not in the still, but the large holding tank.
Yeah.
They sell all sorts of different items.
No, the one thing this whole process has taught me is just how amazing this hidden economy is toward the
Mhm.
production
Yeah.
of
Yes.
whiskey. Just how many questions had to get answered in order for anyone to enjoy any whiskey.
Right.
The
right.
logistics is fascinating to me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like literally, I have more. Like anyone who like makes fun of moonshiners is like that old stereotype where we go, those people have more business sense than like
Yes,
half the
absolutely.
CEOs in this freaking nation. Just because of
Absolutely.
all the shit they need to think about
Right.
and because you can only make so much. Like
Mhm.
the wash will not
It'll only
go
produce
any
so much.
faster.
Right,
No,
right.
it can't go any faster, dude. You need to think ahead
Mhm.
for this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Now,
that's
this is
kinda-
fantastic.
Yeah, this was really good. Thank you.
I'll tell you
Dan.
what's
Yeah.
interesting to me is I'm getting fruitcake.
Mhm.
You guys getting fruitcake?
Well, I am.
There's a little bit of sweetness, but I have no
There
idea
is.
where that could come from, honestly.
Do you
it
know
has
what?
to be from the oak.
Yeah. Do you know what he
Yeah.
modeled it after?
He just thought it would be cool to put like he experiments with this stuff all the time.
Because
Just-
it's
yeah.
definitely got like
Yeah.
some different characteristics.
Yeah.
I would say at its base, it's very Highland. You need more water.
Yeah, give it a little water.
For real? Highland?
Just in the fruitcake
Yeah.
ness.
Okay.
But I've had Highlands like this.
yeah. You see,
It's not super floral.
no.
No.
It's not overly smoky
No.
or overly briny or overly peaty. So it's not really Isla Island. I mean, if I had to put it somewhere, I'd say it was probably a Highland.
That's funny because one thing I noticed about is that even with me being pretty bland in how like I analyze scotch or whatever, it's like the smoothness of this slides you into drunk town easier than any other whiskey
Sliding
I've ever had.
into Drunk Town.
Yeah, I mean that's literally how
I
it
gotta
is.
write that one down. Use
Welcome
you
to
know,
Flavor Town.
What are you doing
Sliding,
today?
what are you doing
Sliding
now?
I mean-
Sliding into Drunk Town.
I mean, with Crown Royal, like you go to Drunktown on a bumpy Greyhound bus or
Right,
whatever, it's
right,
like
right.
fuck.
Right,
This was
with
like-
bad shocks.
Yeah, and it's just like fucking. But this,
Driving
I
down the
never
Pennsylvania
feel that
highway.
way.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
there you go.
On a PA highway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Got it.
some I guess I'm taking Route 22 this
No.
on this transit, but
Right.
Route 22 is okay, I guess. But anyway,
Yeah,
It's a
whatever.
Pennsylvania
it's all
highway.
Pennsylvania.
back
Yeah.
roads around 999. Let's
Right,
go with
right,
that.
right.
But
No, this is really interesting.
yeah,
You need to pass along to your father that this is really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's pretty enjoyable.
hmm
I'm a little bit amazed that you have been able to produce this. I
Mhm.
am, honestly.
That's really, really great to know.
I mean, dude, I don't like. I actually don't drink that much, but I
Yeah.
do appreciate the whiskeys that I do drink. And
Sure.
I pay attention to them.
Yeah.
I'm really. What do you? I mean, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I was definitely impressed.
I was honestly expecting like this just horrendous, like, oh, we're gonna have to pretend to be nice.
Oh, yeah,
No,
thanks,
you see,
sir.
I actually thought like, oh man, because people have told me that these are nice whiskeys, and I go, well, these guys are going to be the real ride or die situation. I thought,
Dude, I tell you,
worst
they
case,
suck.
worst case
Yeah.
scenario. That's the thing. I knew you would. I'd go. I could turn this into a fun. See, once you've been podcasting as long as
Right.
everything I've done, you no longer live a life. You just go. What could be a funny story? What could be a funny bit? This
Right.
could be a funny bit.
Yeah.
You know, if someone literally like shot my balls off, I'm like, I could turn this into a good 20-minute segment about how
I can get 20 minutes out of my balls getting shot.
yeah, about how I'll never live a full life as a
Right.
man anymore. This
Right,
would be a
right,
good
right.
like literally as I'm leaving on the street.
We got like 10
Like-
minutes out of foreskin.
I was
There
gonna
you
say,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You no longer live a life. It's just content creator.
Right,
You know,
right.
but this was amazing. Like I didn't think you guys would have this kind of reaction to this stuff.
No, it was really,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
I would be honest with you, dude.
Mhm.
I would tell you if I thought that this stuff
I know.
was horrible.
Of the three, which one do you prefer?
Oh, I'd like to hear that too. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good question.
So there's the Lowland, the Glenfiddich parody, and the Tony Daniels.
I like.
Yeah.
See, I'm on both ends. I really like.
Whoa.
Hey-o.
Didn't know that.
The one is the center one. I really didn't. I was like, meh, okay. Not that it was bad. I just didn't.
Or do you want to do that? Rate them how you.
See, I
Let's
actually
choose it.
thought that was a very good approximation of it, though.
Yo, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, not taking anything
Yeah.
away from what it. Yeah, let's not talk about that one so much. But the Lowland and then the Tony Daniels or whatever it is, those were my two favorites. And if I had to pick between those two, I'd probably take the Tony Daniels just because it has the oak.
I would say that's my favorite because I can taste the oak.
Mhm.
See, I like the
Yeah.
the nose. I like all three segments of it, so I'd go with the Lowland.
Oh, really? That's
Yes.
not. Thank you, Al. You're my favorite guy here now.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
No, no. Like I just said, like, well, I'm going to bring some Tony Daniels and just get stomped, and I'm okay with that because, like, that one is twice
Yeah.
the length of time for producing. He actually has a jug of it right now in
Yeah.
his kitchen. I thought, like, hey, I'm going on a show. Like, I literally have this much to give to them. Could we like pour just a segment out? Can I like pretend I'm stealing some gasoline and pour some in the bottle? It's like, no, they're not. It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet, Dane. I'm like,
So he cares. That's good,
That's
though.
the thing.
Yeah.
He's like the Colonel Sanders of his bootleg
Right.
whiskey.
Right,
You know,
right,
it's like,
right.
well, no, and do not tell them my 13 spices
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever it is.
Right.
No, definitely tell your dad that for me,
Yeah.
at any rate, I did on it. I mean, I hate to say that, but
Yeah.
I did prefer this.
That's
But,
awesome.
but here's
though.
the thing, though.
Hey, I don't mind. I know he stomps me.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a Lowlands guy.
Yeah.
See now,
See, that's the difference.
McCollum.
the-
Yeah.
You guys actually like convinced me to go quality over quantity in my alcoholism.
Right.
So I
That's good.
So I literally go like, I should try and figure out what I actually like, and
Yes.
like trying different scotches or whatever.
Yeah.
I realize I'm more of a Lowlands guy.
Okay.
But in my own making a whiskey, I try to at least approximate something I'd hate to see whether other people would like it,
right.
which was like the Highland style.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, it's like literature. I hate Moby Dick, but I can understand like why it's valuable.
Right, right.
Same deal with Highlands. I understand what makes it good. It's just not my thing.
I have a challenge for Punisher Dane.
Yeah.
I mean, get to it when you get to it. Whatever.
Sure.
I would like to taste Punisher Dane's version of an Isle of Malt
Ooh, I'd have to do some research on that
because that's my thing.
yeah.
I like the Isle of Malt.
Oh, I'd be more than happy to give you my weird interpretation of it. But sure, Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I do another wash, I'll because that's the thing. That's like the clay, because you get 750 milliliters, pour that in a bottle, and pour some eye drops, some essences that I have
Right.
that change the flavor profile of it. You know, the
Mhm.
alcohol content stays the same. It's just the nose in the aftertaste.
Well, this is
and everything.
non-alcoholic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So the alcohol, well, yeah, it doesn't change because it's zero, my friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I would like to taste an alcoholic batch of your Isle of Mons.
No problem. I'll do that off camera.
Yeah.
So let's move on real quick. Touch on the last two topics we have here before we wrap the show up.
I'm sorry I took up so much. Of your
No,
time,
dude,
Jay.
that's
This is
that's
exactly
fine.
what we wanted.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was the show.
No,
And thank you very much.
sure.
Speaking of,
I'm impressed.
I was trying to segue there a minute ago, but then we kept on rolling. So, talking about the things that you didn't expect. Here's
Didn't
something.
expect this to be so good.
And so there's a little school in Omaha, Nebraska.
There is, isn't there?
There is.
Is this a little house in the prairie? Like
No,
that
not
picture?
quite.
Okay.
Right.
There was a school in Omaha, Nebraska, where the principal sent out a memo letter to all the teachers and the staff and the faculty, and they said, "Look, it's it's Christmas time. We understand things are going to go on, but to not offend anybody, we are going to refrain from saying certain keywords or showing certain images."
And perhaps we should list what they were.
Some of them they said like,
I think I have it pulled up.
okay, like sleighs are okay,
Okay.
deer are okay, snowmen are okay. We
Alright.
better not mention presents or Santa Claus.
Okay.
Just to not
Here,
offend anybody and
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
I got to go off airplane mode, but I'm actually going to give you a
And
list.
she sent out this to the school board and everybody kind of looked at it and went, "What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?"
Yeah.
So basically, what happened is, long story short, is the board came back and they canned her.
Okay, so
They really canned her?
They
got rid
canned
of her?
her. They got rid of the principal for being too big of a freaking snowflake.
So was this like I'm sorry, was this like a giant email that she sent out
yeah,
to faculty and stuff and said like, hey, keep an eye out for these danger words?
Well,
Is this-
okay, so
Okay.
the basic premise, and I mean, you understand where this kind of thing comes from, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about trying to make everybody feel included and not excluded.
I get that, man.
And I get that too.
Yeah.
I do understand that. But the particular principal in question sent out a memo.
Yeah.
The holiday season is here, and we are all reminded to be sensitive to various religions, cultures, and beliefs. Reads a portion of the memo. All students need to feel included and accepted at school every day. Our job as public school educators is to keep activities focused. And this is interesting because you've been an educator.
Oh, yeah. And actually, a version of this happened to me today. I'll actually talk about that.
Okay.
If you want.
To keep activities focused on clear instructional purposes while neither promoting nor inhibiting the free exercise of religion and speech. A list of acceptable things to show were sledding, scarves, Yetis, and Olaf from
I forgot the Yeti. Yeah.
and Olaf from the Disney movie Frozen.
For sure, Yetis are.
Teddy's
are
a Yeti.
Jewish, but-
There's
okay,
a
yeah.
oh that
No.
It also outlined things that were not acceptable.
Yetis celebrate Chinese New Year, I think.
Things that are not acceptable include Santa, Christmas trees,
Yeah.
candy canes, reindeer,
Yeah.
and more. Quote, I feel uncomfortable that I have to get this specific, but for everybody's comfort, I will, said the principal in the memo.
Yeah.
So at any rate, and then it went on for what Jay had to say. And I mean, we could sort of just discuss how we felt about that. For me to go on record, I understand the idea.
Yeah, you can piece together the logic of this.
I can
principle.
understand the idea. You want people to feel not excluded.
it's a
Mhm.
group.
But here's the thing. If we keep going down the path of trying to make people not feel excluded by exclusion, that doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
The only way to make people feel not excluded is by inclusion. And my thoughts on the matter are, you should make it okay for anybody to express whatever tradition they have.
Yeah.
and not say, well, we just can't let anybody express anything,
Yeah.
Right.
to the point where we're not allowing reindeer. Like, please explain to me.
Well,
reindeer-
they did allow deer though.
Right.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so the way that we're going to make everybody feel included is by allowing nobody to be, you know, to express their tradition. We have to exclude everything except for this like weird, completely just shallow, secularist viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way to achieve that. I understand the goal,
Yeah.
but I don't agree with the way that they're trying to achieve it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad that it backfired. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
As far as you
Yeah.
know, it kind of feels like one for the good guys. You know, someone
Yeah.
trying to be just overly ridiculous with their sensitivity on certain topics, and then it coming back to bite them, and then you know.
I mean, I think if you really look into the tradition of a lot of things that were banned, they're not even particularly. I mean, like Santa Claus and Christmas trees and stuff, like really predate a lot of the Christian era stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
and I
that
mean,
goes
we're really
back.
talking about stuff that isn't even like they're banning stuff for reasons they don't even understand where it comes from.
Right.
No, but you know what, Jason? I'll say that I get what you're saying. Like, oh, a lot of this goes back pre-Christian. That's not functional in today. That's Christian now.
Right.
The
Okay.
Christmas tree
I'll give you that.
is Christian now.
Okay,
And
I'll
like
give you that.
the whole idea of Christian of Christmas in general, it's a Christian idea. Like
Right.
literally, what you have is like a fun fact at the bottom of a Snapple cap. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say that. I just like, I literally, there were so many dudes I knew in college, like, well, like that were pagan or whatever.
Yeah.
And it kind of triggered.
Right.
It's like, well, did you know that Christmas has nothing to do with Jesus? And I'm like, yeah, my mom was a history teacher.
No,
dude.
Christmas does obviously have
Yeah.
something to do with Jesus, but
Yeah.
when you overextend to
Yeah.
things that actually don't even really apply, I don't even understand how much logical sense you're making
Mhm.
anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone's just too afraid. That goes back to us with Bill Maher being a smarmy motherfucker.
Bill Maher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of him?
I've heard-
Yeah.
And in intellectual bullying,
Right.
and that's just another form of it.
Exactly.
I'm really
right.
glad he took down the people who were saddened by Stanley's death, though. He took them down a peg or two.
Yeah, he sure
How
did.
dare you feel bad for that?
I
man?
know. How
Yeah.
dare you, right?
Yeah.
Hey, listen to
Yeah.
our show once,
Yeah.
Bill.
Well, I mean, so yeah, my point on the whole thing, and you guys can express whatever you want, is that using exclusion does not make anybody feel inclusive.
Mm-mm.
I agree with you.
You know, I think that now here's the thing: if
Yeah.
I'm in a public school situation, and some kid wants to come in and he wants to tell me how how his family celebrates whatever tradition
Yeah.
at that time of year, I don't really particularly care what it is.
Yeah.
You shouldn't exclude that kid. You should say, okay, cool, and maybe actually his other classmates can learn something from that
Sure.
if they want to talk about Ramadan or whatever they want to talk about. You know, I don't even care if it's Kwanzaa, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, let's learn about that.
Mm.
But does that mean we have to make the everybody else say no? You can't actually talk about
Well,
that. You know,
I don't really think it's more of a morality issue. I think it's like
I think they're afraid.
well, here's why. Because what it boils down to is it's not a moral issue. It really boils down to every major institution has to have their, there's an insurance adjuster guy that has to go and tell you like what the liability is
Right.
for doing this venture, for
Right.
making this fair or
Right.
a festival
Right.
or convention or whatever. That principle was looking at the liability and going like, here's our risk for enjoying Christmas too much is getting some a lot of letters or maybe a bunch of Facebook posts that might go viral.
Right.
And God damn it, I just can't take that chance.
We can't take that chance. Right.
Like it's just going
Right.
to weigh us down and waste time and resources defending some forcing children to make ornaments for a Christmas tree, and 2 of them were Jews.
Right,
It's just
right.
terrible.
Yeah.
No, look, but my thing is like that's what society kind of got turned into. It's like, what's my liability?
So
Okay,
it's not a
I don't
virtual
wanna deal-
liability, basically.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with the hypothetical argument. And truly, I get that. Like if you like business owners or whatever, like man, like even my dad's restaurant, I won't go too far into it, but like people have slipped on his sidewalk like literally
It does happen.
minutes
Yeah, right,
after
it
he
happens,
put down
yeah.
salt,
Yeah.
and he's still like, oh, it's your responsibility for doing this. He's like, do I need to put up a sign saying please look out for ice when it
Yeah.
snows?
Right.
Like
right.
it's really
Right.
sad.
Like we're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like what do you think
Yeah.
is going to happen?
Right.
But like that's what that principle wasn't trying to like go. Well, time for me to create a globalist monoculture and
And
everything.
see, that's it. I agree with that. I
Yeah.
don't think they were. I think it was fear of what the
Yeah.
possible risks and outcome were. But I just don't think that I don't think that's the way to do it.
Yeah. But on a more, oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but like on a more like,
Jay's out of here.
Yeah.
Have a good
yeah,
evening,
he'll be
Jay.
back. On a more like meta level, people just get real excited to have this fight.
Yeah, I
Like
think you're
every
right on
year.
that too. I think you're right. Every year they do.
But
And
it's
most people, like literally, no one would have given a shit if she didn't make that email
100%.
whatsoever.
100%.
Because it just reminded people that like, oh yeah, we're in a society where we got to fight.
What
about
allows
this all
us to
the
be
time.
polarized.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, where a lot of people gain their idea of identity from, is whatever particular patch of polarization you're identifying with at the moment.
but
You
you
know-
have to defend it then.
Yes,
that's
right,
it.
right.
It's-
Well, like, it comes down to identity. I feel like society has like made making a good living so tough for a lot of people that your identity is all you got, man.
Exactly.
Don't let them
exactly.
take that away from you.
Exactly. That's
Too.
all
Like
we
you got tens of thousands of dollars of student debt and student loan debt, and you have to make decisions on what bills you're going to pay this month or whatever. It's like, God damn it, at least let me be me.
At least let me be me.
You
right,
know,
right.
like that's and if you're a minority, that's even worse for a
Absolutely.
lot of things.
Right,
like if
right.
you don't have the same rights. But once again, like let me tell you about like what happened to me at work. Now I
Right.
can't get into any depth, but this happened. I'm not kidding you, like 3 or 4 times. Where I'm in my last week. I'm
Sure.
wrapping up finals and everything
Right,
like that.
right.
And I said, like, hey man, it was really great working with you. Thanks for helping me out. I'm talking to fellow professors. I'm talking to students. And I swear to God, one of these professors, like after just chatting about what we're gonna do with our break, he like turns around and is like, "Oh, Dane, by the way, Merry Christmas." You know, like I'm
As if it was daring.
This man's like making a stand.
Yeah, that's daring, right?
You
Merry
know,
Christmas.
And literally, like I just don't want to indulge this guy with this kind of weird crusade.
Well, see, that's the other
he's
thing,
doing,
because
so-
that's another he's doing it from
Oh,
an idea of polarization and identity, right?
I know this man. I knew like what he was going for
Exactly.
with that.
Right,
so I
right,
literally
right,
turned the
right,
corner and said,
right.
"Yeah, you have a good Christmas too, man. See you later."
Yeah.
And I had like a student or two like make sure like, Professor Lamont, it was really great having you. And by the way, like you have a very Merry Christmas. I'm like, yeah, you enjoy your break too. Like I don't have any problem saying Merry Christmas to any people, but I also don't want to pretend like I'm on your side of a culture war. My job is to make sure you meet the requirements of a syllabus.
Right. Right.
And I just saw that. And once
I
again,
think that's a very interesting point too. That you can definitely. There's another side of that.
But just in case, like, I don't know, this ever gets out from my place of work, the vast majority of people at my place of work just said, have a lovely Christmas, enjoy your break. And no one really gave a
Nobody
shit.
gave a shit.
But you can feel the energy of people that want to have that fight. Right. When really there's no need. No one's attacking you.
Right, exactly.
No one's going after you. That's what bothers me about this lady or whatever. Not necessarily that she tried to take away Christmas, but the fact that she already expected a fight and was trying to like, no, I'm just gonna nuke Japan before it even starts.
Right,
deal with that.
Right.
And that's a terrible way of being a leader or whatever.
I'd agree with. I think we're at the end of the day. I think we're on the same page there.
No, I agree with it, but I feel like the level goes down to not to a culture war thing, but like it's like I don't want to go in 3 different meetings for this. You know, I'm just gonna be like, let me just.
There's
send
the
out an
practical aspect of it. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
need to have 3 seminars on this. You know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
that is what it boils down to.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
What was
Sorry,
the other topic?
I had to get up and move. My foot was starting to cramp again.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah. The other topic is just something real quick and fun. I posted a little link on Facebook tagging Jason and Mikey in on it. We're big Witcher fans.
That's right.
That's no secret. We're
We often
anxiously.
We actually have Witcher news.
Yeah, we do. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I actually don't know much about the one version of it, so to speak. Apparently, I think it's Capcom owns the.
Mm-hmm.
Capcom owns the game franchise Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter World is the one that it's going to be.
And they're bringing Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher into their game world to help fight some monsters.
Right. So
Is this
Geralt,
like a special guest?
it's a
on this-
crossover.
Yeah.
It's
Wow,
like a
okay.
crossover. So yeah, so like Geralt's going to be appearing on Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
Now I've never played Monster Hunter World, much to the chagrin of my good friend Tim High,
Yeah.
who I should say hi to, Whisketeer,
Tim High.
even though he keeps trying to get me to play it. So yeah, in January there's going to be free downloadable content that will allow you to basically introduce Geralt of Rivia into the Monster Hunter world. So that's kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
it's weird.
So that's actually, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's
So,
I like
I
the
mean,
idea of the crossover.
Yeah, there wasn't any. I mean, there you watch the video and the link that's posted. I mean, the graphics.
Right.
It looks like a seamless transition. Maybe not quite seamless. I mean, Capcom has always had more.
And he hates portals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They even brought that in. But here's something that's interesting. One of the things that they had to say about the crossover was that players will get to utilize Geralt's signature fighting style, seamlessly blending swordplay, combat magic, and an assortment of monster hunting equipment. So they're modifying the game to tailor to, you know, Geralt, and there will be quests apparently in the game that are more focused on what Geralt would do. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know.
So hopefully, for those of you who are fans of, not only just The Witcher, but also Monster Hunter World, you can check that out.
Just a little while ago, wasn't there a crossover into one of the Soul Calibur games? Geralt made it into a Soul Calibur game.
Yeah, he was.
So he's starting to be a crossover.
He's
dude.
branching out.
He's branching out.
Next
right.
is going to be on the next Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I was gonna say confirmed for Smash.
Fortnite with
Yeah.
Geralt.
Fortnite.
Yeah, no, that's pretty rad. So there's your Witcher news for the evening.
So that pretty much effectively puts a core.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think
no.
so.
Well, you're right. You're
I
right.
don't think we've covered it on the air. I'm not sure if we have. Please forgive us. But we have Punisher Dane on the show.
Oh, you want to talk about
And
that?
I would like to get Punisher Dane's reaction to the fact that Marvel's The Punisher Season 2 will be coming to Netflix in January.
Yeah. For the record, I am on that show. I'm a reporter, and I'm pretty
Fucking
excited
guy.
for that. Yeah. What?
This guy.
Yeah. I actually had to travel up to Albany for that. It's
Which, if you missed our first episode with Dane,
yeah.
We discussed in a lot of detail your experiences with being on the,
Yeah.
you know, so that was something that go back, and I have no idea what episode number that was. But
Yeah. What's hilarious is since then I've gotten more work just doing TV shows in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And the difference between New York production companies and Pittsburgh production
I can
companies,
believe that.
night and day. Like they know my name. It's like, Dane, welcome back. And
That's
like
awesome.
I've learned the names of these production assistants because they've learned mine.
That's
And
awesome.
the food's wonderful. It's like, we're gonna have you wear like an FBI jacket at Dust for Prince. We want you more in the scene. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm not being treated like cattle. I don't understand how to deal with this. Is this what it was like when like a slave is freed? This is amazing. It's just like I have a soul now.
Somebody gave him a sock. Right.
But it's just it was really amazing. But when they called me up for the Punisher, I said, of course, and I went up for Albany. Now, here's what's interesting.
Did you tell them like I'm Punisher Dane?
Yeah, there's one guy that knows that like I run a podcast on the Punisher, and he actually connected me into this agency that does all the Netflix shows.
That's cool.
But besides that, I'm like among the faceless masses of like pedestrian, reporter, nurse in the background, that kind of shit.
That's cool though.
And I'm at the point of my acting career now where I want to get more work. I have to buy a New York police officer suit, and I'm just not doing that. I'm not going to I'm not going to buy a fake policeman suit.
Right.
But they
CSI Dane. Yeah.
We did not. There was no hint that show was going to get canceled in Albany.
I was wondering. I was going to ask about that actually.
Yeah, like I know because I was trying to think back on that as well. People were super psyched, and you could just tell like this. I mean, I haven't been on a ton of sets, but you just get to feel like, yeah, this is going to be my job for the next 4 years.
Yeah,
a lot of these people because it's
so.
It's
what
Marvel,
do you think's
man.
actually going to happen?
Oh, it's here's what, because I did a lot of research for this for the news segment of my show.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's happening, and we're actually basically entering Shadowrun where corporations rule your life,
Right,
and it's
right,
just
right.
everyone trying to take control of your mind, body, and soul.
Right.
And I know that sounds like really,
But not your podcast.
no, damn it,
Well, yeah.
you
right.
can't stop the signal.
That's right. You
man.
can't stop the signal.
That's
That's right, buddy.
No, I may have mentioned this in the last episode, but literally there are interns at Marvel that are forced to listen to my podcast, and I think that is the funniest thing.
What?
Because
really
well,
awesome.
they always do like product testing for their brand. So if you run a podcast about the X-Men, the X-Men editors kind of have to listen to it. Now that doesn't mean they have to listen to like your suggestions.
Right.
They are not bound by that shit.
Yeah, right. But it's feedback, and it's
Yeah.
good feedback.
It is feedback. But anyway, where was I getting with this? The whole deal with Netflix and Disney, and
Right.
and some of you guys have talked about this with me in the past. It literally is turning into a giant pissing match over brands.
Mhm.
Disney wants it. Disney is basically cleaning up the mess Marvel made in the 90s and early 2000s, where Marvel went into bankruptcy and they said, fuck, just sell off the properties to whoever will take them.
Which is how we have this disjointed Marvel universe now.
Yeah,
It's only now starting to come back together.
Yeah, this weird exodus where these guys own Blade, these
Right.
guys own X-Men, and some of this stuff came back into the fold.
Yeah.
These guys own fantastic. Like I know for a fact Disney owns Fantastic Four again because
Right.
Fox just decided to let that dog die. And
maybe it was a
Which
smart
is funny.
decision for
I
them.
was watching today before work this morning. I don't know why they didn't think that it would reach America, but apparently there's a big Comic-Con going on in Brazil, and who's there but the cast of the upcoming Spider-Man movie.
Wow.
And I went, oh, okay, well,
Good
spoilers.
spoiler, yeah.
Okay, I see what's well, hopefully what's going on here. But they actually, it was a report from Nerdist. Jessica Chobot said that that they don't, because Sony still owns most of Spider-Man, that like the elementals that they're using in the new movie, instead of it being like Aquaman, or not Aquaman, but this Hydro dude, whatever the names are.
Namor?
They're using
You can do it.
they're using other names for them.
Oh, that's lame.
And they're because they don't
That's
have
super lame, dude.
they don't have the access to it.
That's super lame. Just why use that?
Ugh,
Out of all
dude.
the properties that you have access to.
That's the worst thing you can do to nerds is
It
make them
is.
go, I know what this is supposed to be.
Right.
You can't-
Right.
But I didn't know this was happening, but Jake Gyllenhaal
Yeah.
is Mysterio,
Oh, no
No
kidding.
way.
and
That's awesome.
they're teaming up.
What?
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. Obviously,
It's a Mysterio Spider-Man team up?
Mysterio's kind of a joke villain anyway, so it could kind of work.
He's got a fishbowl on his head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think what's gonna happen is this is just my speculation.
Yeah.
There's gonna be like a turn at the end where like, oh, I really am a villain,
Oh,
right,
sure.
right. Well,
That
sure.
kind of
Right,
deal.
right.
But whatever. But that's kind of how you said, it's everything scattered. Like now they're
They're
assigning,
scrambling.
they're making up other names. Where some people are like, okay, that's cool. They're coming up with new villains. I'm like, yeah, but they're really not. Though.
But they're really not. Right.
No,
yeah.
they wouldn't do it unless they were forced to.
Yeah.
Which is sad because, like, with the movies, you could do something different. I mean,
Sure.
well, you could make an interesting, cool guy, and no one would really mind.
Yeah.
But I
kind of
guess
look what they did with the Deadpool thing there with, like.
yeah, because what kind of rogues guy does Deadpool really have? They kind of burnt through it in the first movie
Exactly.
Like-
And then. What's that?
Did you see the trailer
with
for
Black
Once,
Tom. Yeah,
for Once Upon a Deadpool?
No.
They're re-releasing Deadpool 2 in theaters this Christmas, so for a limited time,
yeah,
with some overdubs. It's PG-13.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
not rated R, and they've added some different stuff to
And
it.
isn't he like reading a bedtime story to Ralph Macchio? or
No,
something?
he kidnaps Fred Savage.
Oh, Fred Savage. Right.
So it's like the
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there, and Fred says, "Yeah, I like Marvel movies too." And he goes, "Yeah, well, we're Marvel." He goes, "Yeah, not really.
Not really.
You're kind of Marvel licensed by Fox." That's kind of like saying like the Beatles produced by Nickelback. It's
Yeah.
music, but it
But it
sucks.
sucks. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they've also released the second trailer where Deadpool goes on to defend Nickelback, and no, I don't know if I like.
I don't know if I can watch that movie.
Yeah,
That might be out.
I'm just gonna blackball that baby, and
Yeah.
but
Yeah. That's the
Deadpool.
ultimate test.
right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think let's get down to the segment that
We started her with?
that instituted this the show in the
Oh.
very beginning.
Real quick thing, just to wrap up the what I was getting at was that Disney is Disney wants all their stuff back in the fold, and Netflix kind of realized like we don't really own these properties, we
Right.
at best have leased them.
Yeah.
So and they were, and there's also rumors that some of people just weren't watching certain properties like Iron Fist or whatever. But who knows how well ratings matter in streaming services anyway. What Netflix decided to do was because Disney was maybe raising the rates at for continued ownership of these properties. So Netflix eventually just said like, you know what, screw you, because even in their press releases for canceling Daredevil, they said, well, we just decided to finally end it on a high note with Daredevil and just make sure. But then they made sure to mention at the end of their press release going, but don't worry, Daredevil and all the other properties, they'll be archived on Netflix for years to come. So
I didn't catch that statement.
Yeah,
that's
because the thing is,
to me.
Disney on their new streaming service, they're going to release the Loki show. Like literally, it's the
Yeah.
Loki show, the Captain America sidekick show with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they're doing one on Scarlet Witch. And Netflix just did the math and go like, why should we be promoting Marvel shows by making more Marvel shows and upping Disney's brand in people's minds?
Yeah.
So what they eventually decided to do is like, okay, we're going to shoot this dog, but we're going to stuff it in our living room.
We're going to allow you to pay and watch.
That's a good looking dog. Yeah. Shame it's dead.
Yeah, right.
But hey, that's a good looking dog. Like that's where Netflix has gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's cool. I'm just trying to end the show.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Let's go back to the very first segment that was instituted by the show from Mikey Cavino. He said that we should do a "What are you listening to this week?"
And we should get Mikey's input for this week too, and post it.
Mikey,
what are you listening?
What are you listening to, buddy? Type it up. Let's. Who's gonna go first?
I've been listening to Mayhem's Esoteric Warfare, and the song is Trinity.
Wow, just no Mayhem. Say it again.
Esoteric. Warfare.
And
the song is Trinity.
Okay, Al.
I don't know if you'll find it on Spotify. You'll have to let me know if I got it.
All right, we'll let you know if we have to audible.
If I got audible.
No, I forgot what it was. Out with the Boys. The Boys. Lord Tracy. Death Gods of Babylon is the name of the.
Is in DEF,
Yes.
not DEAF.
No, it's yeah.
Are they deaf or are they deaf?
What's
They might be deaf, as in the gods
Out with the Boys.
Out with the Boys. The gods don't listen to them.
Okay, all right. I was wondering.
And why would they?
Damn.
The band's named.
You know
after
what? I
Tracy
actually
Lords.
was re-listening to an old album that a girlfriend recommended to me in the past. It's by this lady named Marina. Her whole name is Marina and the Diamonds, and my favorite song from that album is called "Numb." The basic way I can describe this is like, what if Lady Gaga wasn't super obnoxious? Like, and you could actually,
Meat Suit might be obnoxious.
like
I don't know.
Depends on who you are.
a classically trained lady that decided to go into pop.
Okay.
That's the best way to put it.
Marina and the Diamonds.
Marina and the Diamonds.
Okay.
Like an Aqua Marina or something like that. But
I'll definitely check it out.
I honestly just really enjoy it because she kind of has like an 80s synth pop feel to some of her songs, but there's always like a nice piano in the core of a lot of them. And I don't know, it just always makes me feel really good.
What's the song?
Numb by Marina and the Diamonds. There's a couple other good ones there.
Do you have any
too.
idea what the album that was?
I think it's a self-titled album, Marina and the Diamonds. I could be wrong about that, but I like it so much I bought it off the iTunes. Oh, and for the record, I'll also shill. Well, here's another thing I've been listening to.
The Family Jewels.
Family Jewels. That's correct. Another great album I've been listening to is the Paul Perone tapes, where scam callers try and call me when I'm grading my papers, and I really fucking hate that. So I pretend to be some like indignant redneck and keep them on the line for as long as possible. Available on iTunes and Google Play and wherever fine albums are sold.
I've heard some of the predecessors to that. And they're pretty funny, dude.
They've evolved because they know who Paul Perone is now.
Okay.
I'm like, here's the other thing that's funny, and I can show you this after the show, but like now where it gets to is like when I know they're calling me, I'll go on YouTube and like download or just stream 3 hours of elevator music. And it goes like, hey, your car warranty's gone out. We gotta
that call.
expire. And I go like, well, you know what? I don't really own the car. My father does. I'm gonna have to connect you to my dad. And so like, I'll just play the elevator music and wait for 3 minutes.
It's on there.
Oh, great. And then bring it to my dad and I'll put on like a stupid Southern accent. And I go, that's a company car. I'm going to have to take you to my supervisor. And I just play the music again, but on from a different YouTube video, so they don't catch on to it. And then the supervisor just goes like, "Oh no, we sold that car. I'm sorry." And like I wasted 12 minutes. And meanwhile, I'm just like grading papers or answering emails. Now they've gotten to the point where they'll call me. And they'll go like, "Is this Paul Perone?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they go like, "Good. 1 second. Well, I'm going to connect you to a salesman right away, but he may not be available." And that's not normal. They want to connect you right away.
Yeah, right.
So they put on the call waiting music, and I'm like, whatever. And I put the phone aside, and then like this Indian lady goes like, "Sir, are you still listening?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they go, "Good." And they continue to play the music. I'm like,
"Good."
They're doing this out of spite now. They don't even want to make a sale. They're just trying to waste my time.
That's awesome.
And they're just like, how fucking bored are you that you're like, oh, this prank caller who got me because I was trying to steal thousands of his dollars.
Yeah.
And then they put it back on the like 15 minutes past, and I like fucking forget about it. And they go like, "Sir," and I go, "Yeah, who is this?" He's like, "Is this still Paul Perone?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, fuck you!" And they just hang up. Like, "Oh, I got him. He had to listen to the elevator music
I
for
got
15
the Paul
minutes.
Perone.
I got him." And I'm like, I didn't even remember
That's
what you were calling
fantastic.
me.
You're legendary in call servicing centers.
Yeah, but if you like a worse version of the Jerky Boys, the Paul Perone tapes, now available on iTunes and Google Play.
Shameless
I'm
plug.
gonna have to do that.
And also that one service that Jay-Z owns for some reason. But Wave? Tidal? Yeah, Tidal. So
I don't even know
I don't even know.
I don't know either. They just offered it to me, and I said, "Yeah, put me on with the rappers."
That shit. Put me on with the
It makes
rappers.
no fucking sense, but there it is. I'm on Tidal.
Jay, what are you listening to this week?
Up on deck for me this week. One of my favorite, not necessarily my favorite albums, but one of my favorite songs from Slipknot. I've been listening to "All Hope Is Gone," and the song is, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Gematria, the killing name.
Gematria,
Yeah.
None of us were listening to Christmas music.
No.
Sometimes a little bit of Dino. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Not his band, his outlaw.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So with that, I think that effectively puts a cork in this week's episode. Guys, we'd like to thank you for once again tuning in this week. We really appreciate everyone who shows up. And we really couldn't do this without you. From day 1 to day 346, we appreciate the Whisketeers who have stuck with us, ride or die. So cheers, guys. Have a good evening. Stay safe out there. For the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee, I am Jay.
I am Jason. I would also like to throw in there, I would like to especially thank our special guests this evening, Al Scarton and Dane Lamont. Thank you for being here.
It's always a pleasure.
And I am Jason. Good evening. Thank you.
I'm Reverend Al. And thank you for having me, you sons of bitches.
I regret you not doing more voices. They're
awesome. Would you hire me?
Yeah.
I'll take anything.
I'll consider it, man. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm Dane Lamont. It's been a blast. Thank you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And we are the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee. Guys, please, for the love of God, listen responsibly.
And we're out.
Wrap.
Woo. It's awesome.
Yay!
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah.
Fun as always.
What happened after?
Who knows?
Al and I are heading out. Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I love Rick.
Peace.
I love Rick.
Peace out.
I love Rick Words.